Hello and welcome to this episode of the Be Free podcast. And this week we are going to be chatting all things intuition. So, those little nudges, those little whispers that you receive that maybe you often deny or that you pop aside and are like, don't be so ridiculous. What is this thoughts I'm having? All those kind of things. Um, I did a session with our Soul Sanctuary members about connecting in with our intuition or our intuitive guidance. And there were some questions came up during that session. So I thought I would just answer some of those questions today to support anybody listening. Discuss a little bit about how we know what our intuition is, what's intuition, what's our ego, ways we can connect and fine tune our intuition, and yeah, just like why it's so important to really tune in with this authentic, aligned version of ourselves. So before we begin, I would love us now, if you're driving, obviously don't do this, but or pull over, one of the two. We're just going to go through just a little mini moment. Just let's pop one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Allow your eyes to close. Just take a really nice, big, deep breath in through your nose. Breathing out slowly through the nose or the mouth. Just taking a few breaths in this way, just dropping into this beautiful space today. Allowing yourself a peaceful opportunity. And from this space, I want you just to ask yourself that by the end of this podcast that you've received some intuitive guidance. I am ready to receive. Take a nice big deep breath in. Maybe blinking those eyes open and just coming back. Okay, lovely. So let's have a little chat. So when we are thinking about our intuition, it really is coming from our higher self, from our heart space. It's not from this head space of logic. Yeah. It is a great way to support us in tuning in with the divine. So tuning in with that divine energy, that divine insight, that divine information that really wants us to operate from the space of clarity, from ease, from love. Um, and that's something to bear in mind when you're receiving information, like where this information is coming from. So we want to look through and operate through the lens of our heart space and our third eye and our crown. So we receive the insight through the crown, through the heart space, and also within the body. So we will receive this information, and I'll discuss like different ways that it might come to you. But if your body is contracting or expanding when you receive information, when you get that gut feeling like, oh my God, no, or oh my God, yes, so up for that, like, whatever it comes through. So we want to operate from these different systems and not just from our head space, because when we're operating from the mind and from the logical space, we're really limited. We're limited by the experiences we've previously had, or maybe things that we've just witnessed. And there are so many other things out there and ways out there and experiences out there that we just can't even begin to comprehend in our own mind and experience. So I really want you to just allow yourself to open yourself up to receive today the insight, the information, support, anything you need. And yeah, let's just explore intuition together. And you can let me know in the comments or reach out to me or, whatever. Like, has your intuition supported you before? Has it guided you in the past? I have worked with clients where it has literally saved their lives in situations. And it's something that is so, so powerful. So I read the book recently. Recently, it took me about 2 years to read. Women Who Run with Wolves, and Clarissa Pinkola Estes has a really beautiful quote about intuition. So I thought I'd share that with you. So she says, "Intuition is the treasure of a woman's psyche. It is like a divining instrument. Unlike a crystal, through which one can see with uncanny interior vision. It is like a wise old woman who is always with you, who tells you exactly what the matter is, tells you exactly whether you need to go left or go right. So I love that, like the thought of this like inner old wise woman within us. And you know, whether you're male or female, we all possess the power of intuition, and we all have the capacity to strengthen that. Um, and the more we trust ourselves, the more we connect in with that intuition, the more we can begin to fine tune it and hone it, and it will get stronger and stronger till you won't even kind of like question it. You just be like, okay. Um, so yeah, so before we are connecting in with our intuition, I do always like to suggest that you clear your energy so that you are a clear channel for receiving wisdom. So that could be done just by like visualizing yourself in a shroud of light. You could sage yourself. I just before I hit record used this beautiful Peace and Harmony spray. It's a sacred spray from Findhorn Flower Essences, which contains rose oil and frankincense. Spray myself again. Beautiful. Just so you're clearing any energy that's not your own, and so that you can be this channel for insight and information. I would also suggest that you protect your energy. Okay, so you protect your energy by, you could do this through calling in your angels and guides. Again, you could use visualization, so visualizing yourself in a bubble of light. You could use sacred symbols if you've got like Reiki symbols or the Ankh or Om or like any of these single symbols that you could place around yourself for protection. You could use essential oils. You could call on Archangel Michael. You could call on your ancestors, whatever you feel or whatever you do to protect your energy. Then I would say do that as well. So you cleanse your energy to get rid of the stuff, and then you protect your energy so that you're kind of encapsulated in this beautiful protective light or cloak or bubble, whatever you choose to support yourself. Okay, so when we receive this information, it can come through in some different ways, and just to kind of tap into that. So often, for me personally, I tend to hear it or feel it. But there's like 6 different clear senses. So when you hear like, you know, like the word like clairvoyant, and you think of like Mystic Meg and all these people that see into the future, clairvoyance doesn't necessarily mean just seeing into the future. Clairvoyance can be seeing things with your intuition. So you might like see signs, symbols. Like I've just seen so many butterflies on my walk, you know, the symbol of transformation. And I actually started recording this podcast. I like started it off, did the like setting up the podcast, did all that, um, the breathing, set the intention to receive some guidance. And then anyway, the dog started barking, so I had to stop and then go and start again. But in that process, I went downstairs, and then there was another butterfly at my window when I was downstairs. And I was like, oh, thank you, butterflies, for coming through and supporting me today. Um, so yeah, so that would be an example of clairvoyance, right? Seeing something. So maybe it's seeing a sign, maybe it's seeing angel numbers, maybe it's seeing a message, whatever that may be. So that's clairvoyance. Clairsentience is clear feeling. So when I do my Reiki, this is how I this is how I feel. This is how I feel things. So I like you know, have that kind of gut feeling that whether things are right or wrong, I will intuitively like get sensations within my body. So that would be classed as clairsentience. Claircognizance is clear knowing. So like that, I think a lot of people experience intuitive guidance in that way, where they're like, oh my gosh, I know I've got to do this, but I don't know why. Or like, I know I've got this information, but I don't know why. I know I've got to call that person, apply for that job, like whatever it is, like, you know, and it could be like, this makes no sense to me, but like, I just know, I like have that knowing. So the claircognizance is that. Clairaudience is clear hearing. So that would be, so for me, I experience clairaudience quite frequently. So say I'm asking, like the other day, and I shared this in my life and I shared it on my stories, but just like, what will I sweeten my cacao with? And I was like, oh, agave? No. Honey? No. Local honey? Yes. Like, coconut sugar? No. And just hearing that yes or no and knowing. And when I'm doing cards for people, card reading, that's typically how I get it, to stop. It'll be like, stop, here, that card. And that is how my intuition guides me in those moments. So that would be classed as clairaudience. Um, Clairalience is clear smelling. So sometimes people will get a smell like, like that, just connecting in with that familiar perfume or aroma that will guide you. You'll just be like, that might be your inner yes or your inner no, or you'll smell something that will remind you of something and you'll receive the guidance in that way. Clairgustance is clear taste. So having that taste within your mouth, like it could again be invoking memories or certain things coming through. So that is your 6 clairs there. And you have them all, right? Like there's not like you don't have them all, you have them all, but some will be stronger than others. And this is where we can begin to develop the clairs to support us in really receiving the information that we require. Okay, so one of the main questions is I got asked was like, is this intuition or is this anxiety or is this intuition or is this just my ego? And what I would say is your intuition and intuitive guidance is generally calm and centered, and you will feel safe. Yeah. You're not going to feel like absolutely terrified, like, oh my gosh, no. You'll generally feel calm. The information that will come through will tend to be repetitive. So often with our ego, so say it was applying for a job, right? And you apply for this job and you're like, oh my gosh, I know I need to apply for it. And then you're like, no, you don't. And then you're like, God, why don't I need to apply for it? And then, oh, maybe it's not enough money. And you're like, all right, okay. Oh, you don't have the right qualifications. Oh, okay. Oh, it'd be quite hard to get there, right? That is your ego chipping in. That is not your intuition saying those things to you. Your intuition will typically give you the same answer over and over. And this is why when I'm doing card readings, I won't like ask the same question again because I almost feel like it's disrespectful to my intuition. And I say this with clients, like they'll be like, oh, like the one to ask the same thing, and I'm like, you've already received the insight and information. It's maybe just not what you want to hear or whatever, but yeah. So it will generally be the same answer. And sometimes you'll find this actually if you've got your own cards and you keep drawing the same card over and over until you've like actually received that message fully. So yeah, it will keep you safe and is kind. So as I mentioned, like I've had a client in the past who like her intuition has literally saved her life in a situation. And for her, it was that knowing. So that clear cognizance, like, oh my gosh, I don't know why, but I know I need to like get out of this car, for example. So it is safe and it's kind. It's always there. Um, it's always loving and compassionate. It's not there to berate you. Your intuition will never kind of be mean, be mean to you. It can be illogical. So as I mentioned, like, you sometimes you'd be like, well, that makes zero sense. Why would I do this? Or why would that be happening? Or why should I move there or whatever it is? It can be totally illogical and make no sense, and that's okay. And I would say that it's judgment free. Okay, your intuition isn't there to judge you. It's there to support you. So it's not fear-led. It won't cause harm to yourself or others. Your intuition is not that type of energy. It isn't erratic. It isn't emotive. As I mentioned earlier, it's very, very calm, very, very centered. And it's not going to have like multiple agendas, right? Your intuition is clear. Okay, so that's how I'm saying the more we tune into it, the more we honor it, the more we trust it, this proof we have to ourselves then is like, oh, right, actually, that does work. So I had a lady after my live session with my Soul Sanctuary members ask me the question, like, I've got this intuitive insight and it won't go away and it keeps coming, but I'm really experiencing anxiety about it. And I was like, okay, so here's what to do in this situation. If you keep getting that same nudge, I want you to check in with yourself and ask yourself, does like the other side of making that decision, the other side of making, whatever that may be, like further down the line, does that make you feel expansive? Does that make you grow? Like sometimes anxiety can be there just because we've never done something. So, like, again, just using applying for a job as an example, but maybe applying for that job, you're like, oh my gosh, but then I'm gonna have to hand in a notice, and what will my boss say? And then I'm actually really nervous because I've never done that before, and what if I can't do it? And what will people think of me? And da 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 da. But ultimately, for your higher purpose and passion and alignment, somewhere within you that that is the right thing. Okay. So it's okay to feel anxious, nervous about things we've never done before, things we've never experienced, things that are going to stretch our comfort zone, but not to the point of terror, right? Not to the point of terror and feel and fear, but to the point of expansion and growth and just honoring and tuning in with yourself. Like otherwise we would just stay stuck in our comfort zone all the time, right? And that's not great. That's not you living your best life, you feeling expansive, you like living like something totally aligned to you. That's you being stuck. So I would ask yourself to tune in with whatever decision or whatever insight is coming in and just sit with that and be like, okay, am I anxious about this actual thing or just like the decision about it? Like, how would I feel if I had accomplished and managed to achieve whatever it is that's coming through for you? How would you feel then? Freaking amazing. Okay, there's the clue, right? So we can feel anxious, we can feel scared, worried about upsetting people, and that's really common when the more we begin to align with our true self, with our authentic self, with our own passion and purpose, the more those things will arise, the more those worries about upsetting people, will begin to come up. So many ways for you to connect in, and then there's so many additional tools we can use to support our intuition. So as I mentioned, signs, symbolism, angel numbers, nature is a huge, huge giver of intuitive guidance to me. Synchronicities. We can use pendulums to check in with our higher power. We can use angel cards, oracle cards. You can use muscle testing within your body. A whole host of different things can support you in really connecting in with that divine guidance that is all around you. So let's place that hand back on that heart and back on that belly. Just take a couple of breaths. And just checking in and asking yourself the question, what do I need to know today? What insight do I need to receive? Just seeing what comes, taking a breath, allowing those eyes to open. And what I would say is trust yourself, okay? Trust the guidance. Don't judge the guidance. Yeah, trust what is coming through for you. So if this is an area that you would like to explore more, this makes up part of my Metamorphosis program. We spend a full 5 weeks exploring our intuitive self, exploring how to connect with that version of ourselves that ultimately is leading us to our purpose. So how can we tune into the divine signs, signals, guidance that we are receiving? How can we work with the cycles of nature? There's a whole host of different things within that process, from pendulum work, intuitive guidance, meditations, third eye work, all these different things that are going to really help you hone and develop that skills. So if that's something you're interested in, I will pop the link to Metamorphosis in the show notes. The doors close on the 7th of August. So if you're listening to it before then, go grab your space. You also receive physical tools with regards to connection as well. So they come out in the post to you, whatever country you're in, right? So that's why the doors close on the 7th of August and we don't start until the 20th. So I am sending you so much love. I really hope this podcast episode has supported you. If there's anything you want to know or have any questions on anything I've discussed, please, please, please reach out. With so much love from my heart to yours. Keep tuning in, keep trusting yourself, and I'll see you next week, my love.